Good evening. Again, welcome back. So what's the kicker is like, when is it actually going live? You never quite know. Especially, it apparently helps to start the stream. I was like just waiting there to start the stream. And like, oh yeah, I actually should hit, start stream to actually start the recording. So anyway, we're back again. This time with a Windows 95 game. Dune 2000. A lot of stuff rattling around in here, but this was kind of like a what do you want to call it? Like a remaster of Dune 2. So Dune 2 being the quintessential like original real-time strategy game, and this was just kind of like a love letter to that, modernized using, I think, basically like the Command and Conquer Gold engine, if that makes sense. It's still top-down. It's not the isometric that Tiberian Sun used, but I played the heck out of this. And we're going to play a different house. I always play as Atreides because I want to be the good guys. So if you're not familiar with the Dune mythology, you have the House Atreides, House Harkonnen, and House Ordos in this one here, fighting over the planet Dune. That is the only planet in a known universe that has the spice melange everyone wants. So we're making a new movie out of it right now, I think, which is pretty cool. It's based on the book series Dune, loosely adapted into this game series. This is the Scandinavian box copy, so you actually have some nice Scandinavian texture on the back, but I didn't install it already because we're now playing on the AST machine that I did in my videos, the 166 megahertz. I ran on the 700, but it was actually a little too fast to run that nicely. So this game requires a recommended a 133 or better. So it does run on here. I did try it, and that's actually run, but I'm not going to install it live right now because it took a long time. CD-ROM drive is very slow on this guy, so I actually used Dune 2000 as a kind of like a report in my in high school. We had to do like a multimedia presentation, and I used Dune as the example, or video games of Dune, and I used a lot of like the promotional art and everything from Dune 2000. I was quite proud of that. I think I still have it somewhere, but they made us do it in like this weird software where it's like PowerPoint but not PowerPoint. I don't think I've ever seen it again. It probably died out, but anyway, in the box we have the game. We have a nice, the front is color, but the actual manual itself is black and white, or gray I should say, unfortunately. But it has, information, all the units, how to play. There's MCV. There's some, once the game starts up, you'll see how many things that it calls back to the regular Command and Conquer series. So it modernized it because Dune 2, as cool as it is, and it's amazing, it certainly is not a smooth to play, especially around this time when this came out, then 2000 being the cool thing to do. When did this actually come out now? 98, yeah. So Dune 2000, copyright 998. So the turn of millennium, everything had to be millennium or 2000. You had your typical little, oh, let's see. Please ensure you read this product license. This is actually the product license attached in the, included in the box. Just liabilities and copyright and warranty and things like that. So, cool. Technical assistance in like 14 different languages. German, French, all kinds of good stuff. Anyway, so we're going to get into the game. Because I already installed it on here. Because it did take a long time. I think there was a patch. But I don't know if I have. Let's see. I did download this patch, but I don't think I have. There's the US patch for 106. We'll just play the game as it came. So this is the 102 version, I think. I don't know if there was any major updates to the game. I think there might have been, but I'm not going to install, some zip utility just to get that patch. So I'm going to cram the box in here somewhere. And we're going to get right into it. And I hope you like full motion video, because this is Westwood in the heyday. And they had, I guess I should say that too, this game was made by Westwood, the same people that actually, made Dune 2, Command & Conquer, all those games. So, we'll see how loud this is here now. Switch over here so you can see the screen. You don't want to see me. For the game. Yeah, this is FMV Bonanza. If we can do the intro and sneak peek here. Or on the intro. Because that's cool. It's FMV. So much FMV. Realign the window here.
planet Arrakis, known as Dune. Land of sand.
This is a reanimation of the Dune 2 stuff, so that's really cool. Dune 2, of course, was a, you know, 2D game. I mean, this is a 2D game too, but there was no CGI rendering like this, obviously.
The house which produces the most spice controls Dune. There are no set territories, no rules of engagement.
All-out warfare.
Vast armies have arrived. Now 3 houses.
So yeah, again, I hope you like FMVs because this game is littered with them. When I played Command & Conquer, the cool thing when you beat a level was to see what the animation would be.
The insidious Ordos.
And confession, I've only read the first novel, Dune, or maybe it's called Arrakis, I don't remember now. But Arrakis is the planet, and it's called Dune. Because it's nothing but sand dunes, the whole planet. It's nice when they have those single biome planets. There's no other, like, you know, there's no ice caps or anything. So there's a sneak peek then for other Westwood properties, and I don't know if this was after Tiberian Sun or not. So this is the promo then for Tiberian Sun, which I think hadn't come out yet at that point. And I found, we'll stream that another night, but I found Tiberian Sun to be a kind of a letdown, I guess. I mean, I see what they're going for, and it's not, individually, like by itself, it's not a bad game. But I certainly felt like it lost a little bit of that charm that Command & Conquer and Red Alert above all had. It was just taking itself too seriously, and for me, a big driving thing here, and in this here now too, Frank Kopacki, the composer, did that rock industrial soundtrack, and then they replaced it with this like ominous, like, you know, lamenting music almost. And I mean, it fits the thing, but no, I don't know. Not bad, but it just didn't have the same character to it, I guess. That's the way I felt. Fantastic FMVs, of course. Michael Biehn plays the good guy there. Star-studded, like usual. That Westwood is gone, sadly. Like many other game companies, they were snagged up by Electronic Arts. So yeah, there's a little behind the scenes. Yeah, James Earl Jones, of course.
Hollywood's finest actors have found themselves in the heat of a fierce battle for world
Alright, we'll skip through that, but anyway, it's not a cool game, but we'll start a new game. We'll play on normal. We'll do easy because I'm lame.
On this planet, you will die.
Of course, there's backstory and stuff like that, because FMVs. I mean, it was a big part of the charm of Westwood Games. You had all these crazy FMVs everywhere.
But the sisterhood of the Bene Gesserit has been wrong before. From time to time.
These are the Bene Gesserit witches, basically, in this universe that are like soothsayers and like they can see into the future and voodoo magic and stuff.
I booked your passage to Dune on this highliner.
I also love the fact that all these FMVs are like talking to you, the player. You're the commander, right?
He is not a compassionate man. You are here because of the prophecy.
You can enable subtitles because it's hard to get the volume right on these kind of games.
Your bloodline and your future. We have seen you die.
And I guess once we get into the game, we should say if you haven't played any of these games, and if you played the games in the 90s, you probably have. I mean, it follows the Command & Conquer formula to a T. You have a construction yard that builds buildings, you build more and more buildings, more advanced buildings, you get better units, stronger units, until you overwhelm your opponents, usually. I don't think there are that many, like, special stages in this. Like, you play StarCraft, for example, you have, like, you know, you got, like, 3 special units you gotta get through a place or something. So, I said I always played as Atreides as a kid, because I wanted to be the good guy. I played Harkonnen a little bit, so I have never really played as Ordos. And the cool thing with here is that you get special cutscenes for all these 3 different houses, and they have different playstyles. Atreides, straight up normal warfare with some special units. Harkonnen, big heavy tanks. And Ordos being the insidious ones. They have special units that, like, you can take over other enemy units and things like that. So I've never played as Ordos, so we're just gonna give it a shot. Which again comes with FMV. I had to wait for the seed to spin up there.
It is said their immense fortune comes.
I gotta find the little animation I did for. And yes, the resolution is weird on these cutscenes. You see that it's an egg. It's not a planet. It's supposed to be round, right? It's weird because it like stretches out the video, and you run it in a special video mode to get compatibility or whatever. It scrunches it up, so it's really weird. This tune uses an odd resolution. So here it's running at like 70 hertz right now. Just odd resolutions in this game, which makes it hard to capture. That's why I drug out this computer. So this is the AST-166 that I fixed up and everything. It runs it beautifully, but on other machines I had a heck of a time getting it to capture properly. So this is where we're at now. And like the Command & Conquer, there's the Dune egg. This is supposed to be round, but it is not in the cutscene here. You can scrunch it up, but I'm lazy, so we now have the sand egg floating in space.
Atreides are close by.
So you have to select your territory. This is exactly like Command & Conquer. And some of the cursors are even probably familiar if you played Command & Conquer Gold. Or Red Alert, I should say, for Windows 95. So we'll go here. But it was a big incentive to play the different houses to see the different cutscenes.
Chance you are a Harkonnen terrorist. There is a 32% probability.
And the thing with the Ordos is that they're calculating mercenaries. They do everything for profit. And it's nice to have archetypes, right?
My name is Idrico, Mentat to the House Ordos. We will brief you on your mission. Harvest the spice. That is your mission.
Funny, because the part of it is like camp, because I remember watching the cutscenes for like Red Alert 3, Tim Curry, bless his heart, he, you know, rest his soul, I guess. But he's really trying to be like serious, but he can't keep it straight. If you haven't seen it, I highly recommend just watching like Tim Curry like outtakes from Command & Conquer 3, because he's like trying to be all serious, like Russian like dictator. It's like, I've escaped to the moon! And he just loses it, you know, because it's just so ridiculous. Alright. Spice as well. Serve the Ordos by harvesting spice in the Imperial Basin. If Harkonnen forces attempt to interrupt the flow of the spice, neutralize them. Efficiency dictates that silos must be built to avoid loss of spice. Build concrete foundation to avoid unnecessary damage from the elements. To do otherwise is wasteful. Collect 2,500 Solarius worth of spice. This is the mission. You can see what... this was something that was in Dune 2 as well. When you launched the game, it will tell you what to do. So yes, you have a harvest. Excuse me. You have a harvester that collects the spice. You have to build the slabs. And yes, this game doesn't run super smooth. It was pretty experience on this one. You probably want, you know, a P2 to run this really smoothly, but inside the game it seems to be running just fine. Construction yard, which is what builds stuff. You have the wind trap, which produces power in here in this game. And then you have a refinery to collect the spice. I mean, this Dune 2 established the modern RTS formula, so the fact that they kind of just remastered it for 2000 is pretty cool. Alright, so here we are. Like, we select our units, they move around. So you can see it's a little sluggish to move around, but again, it's part of the experience, and it works pretty well. So you have to build slabs to put down your buildings on in this game, because you put them directly on a rock. I'm just going to kind of go through a little bit of what makes Dune unique from like Command & Conquer. You have to put down slabs, otherwise your building takes extra damage by sitting directly on a rock. And you can only build on a rock. The whole thing with Dune is that it's all sand, right? So you don't want to... you can only build on a rock, basically, which limits your building area. The spice is what you harvest. Here we go, we'll build the sand, a wind trap. There we go. You see, even the little minigunner guys are basically directly copied from Red Alert, Command & Conquer, all those, so.
Construction complete.
There we go.
Building.
So, you see a little square box there that shows how many sand slabs, if you will, that the building requires. Built up pretty inefficiently there, but oh well. We got the resources. Once you deploy your refinery, then you can harvest spice. So, and it's got a fantastic soundtrack. It's a little hard to hear, I guess, because it's pretty muted. But again, Frank Klepacki, just terrific soundtrack. And he was brought back to do a remastering, if you will, of the Command & Conquer Remastered, which was really, really good. I didn't play that far in it so far, because on my MO, I play games and I move on to the next one right away, but just really good remixes of the original tracks from Command & Conquer and Command & Conquer Red Alert. If you're a Command & Conquer fan, I highly encourage picking up the remastered version. It's phenomenal. So the thing with Dune is that it's all sand, right? There's a danger to move around on the sand because you might get sandworms. So sandworms are massive worms that basically float around in the sand and eat vehicles if you are not careful. So you gotta be careful about that. We'll build a silo. Pretty sure it's gonna get some more bad guys drop it in here. So again, if you played other Command & Conquer games, it's a pretty familiar formula. You build buildings, get more advanced stuff, build more advanced unit, defend your base, and kind of go about that way. So, formula I still really like, honestly. But I also feel that it was a product of the times. You remember the 90s, those RTS games just exploded in popularity. I mean, I have a whole bunch behind me, but there were so many that came out. Different ones that maybe were, you know, less units, more powerful units, and you had games like Total Annihilation. It was like all the units all the time. It just exploded. Everyone had RTS games, every developer. So I know that they've tried to revive it several times. So Petroglyph Games is a company that consists of a lot of old Westwood employees, and they made a game called Grey Goo, which is about like nano particles and stuff. It's really good. It plays like a good Command & Conquer game. I mean, it's got everything you expect. High production quality, high production values. The original story, great FMV sequences, all CGI, no actual people. And it's just a fantastic game, but it just tanked commercially because RTS games, big blockbuster RTS games, unless you're basically Blizzard at this point, they just aren't happening in the same way. Because I mean, the MOBA is taking over all that, right? So I don't know that they can rekindle the original RTS flame. I think the remaster was a really good way to do it for Command & Conquer, because they listened to fans, they added features that fans requested, and it was just like, that's how you do a proper game like that to get those sales. But I think it'll be very hard, unless, again, you have StarCraft or Warcraft in the name, to make an RTS today that actually is successful, to the point where they want to keep making them, so. Yep, just harvest and some spice. You can explore everything here, but there's much more to explore. You find the bad guys. In Dune 2, the original, you cannot multi-select. You cannot just click the maps. Like in this case here, I just drag a box and I move them. That's what we expect with RTS games these days. In Dune 2, you had to click the unit, you had to click the move button, you had to click the ground. The unit was moving. That's 3 clicks per unit. You cannot multi-select. So moving armies and endgame was just ridiculous. Oh, come on. Is a single guy shooting me there? There we go. A lot of spice here. Aha! Get that dude. We're the green guys, and those are the red guys. We don't like those. They're different colors now, so we're gonna explodinate them. Crashed harvester, some little nice. So that's a worm sign there. That is a sandworm, and if you leave a vehicle out on the sandworm will unceremoniously eat it. So that's the thing you gotta be careful for. You can scare the worm away and actually kill it with enough firepower. I do not have that firepower right now, so we're not gonna try and actually kill it, but why don't you go down here? It feels like that's a closer spot. But beyond that, I mean, you take this game, let's fine, go up there, if I care. This is basically just transplanting directly if you take Red Alert from the Windows 95 era. So Red Alert Gold, or I don't think there was a Gold version of Red Alert, but a Command & Conquer Gold for sure for Windows 95 uses a very similar interface. Build structure, you know, selling, repair, it's all very, very similar. But it's not necessarily a bad thing. It was a, you know, it was a remaster homage to the original game. I think Dune 2 is hard to play these days. It's like a lot of retro games, you go to a platformer, it's going to be a platformer. But an RTS game like that, when you have certain creature comforts, like the multi-select, clicking on the map where to go, it's hard to go back to playing with a control scheme that's that old. You know, you play a first-person shooter, like I played Dark Forces last time, right? It's a very old game. It's very familiar. But RTS games, there's been a lot of creature comforts. It'd be like playing an old MMO now, right? It's playable and it's fun, nostalgic, but it's a little harsh.
Mission complete.
Mission complete. Huzzah! We got our Solarises. More videos? Gotta spin up the CD-ROM drive. You can do it. There we go. Alright. Dominated. Mine 0 position. So now you gotta strategically decide where you go, and that's the cool part. That was in Dune 2 as well, and then, of course, if you're familiar with this screen now, it looks very similar to Command & Conquer. And that's where they got the idea, of course, was from Dune 2, and they made Dune 2, obviously. And I think they said the only reason they didn't make Command & Conquer set in the Dune universe, if you will, since Dune 2 was so successful, they were tired of brown and sand, which is fair. There is a lot of brown in Dune 2. At least there's a variety, and they wanted to set it in kind of pseudo-modern.
You have contributed 1 quantity of spice to the Ordos. You are worth 1 quantity of spice to us. We will brief you on your mission. There is a small Harkonnen base in the Imperial Basin. Destroy it.
Oh, really? Did you play Dune 2000?
Mission.
This was out on PlayStation as well, I believe. I've never played it on PS1. I should really try it out. But yeah, I've only played it on PC.
Restore spice production.
The movie is pretty trippy by today's standard. I'm curious about the new one. It seems good so far. The original one from 80s is so trippy and far out that, yeah. Alright, Harkonnen forces are weakened in the Imperial Basin. Use the sensors in our outpost to find them. Strike hard and destroy everything. Destroy all buildings. Leave nothing alive. That is the mission. The Ordos mean business. That's the whole point. So now we can build light infantry. That looks exactly like a minigunner for Command & Conquer, but it's fine. Let's see. Raiders are similar to Trikes, but the Ordos have refined their firepower. So, speed in order to create a powerful maneuver unit. So, the idea with Ordos is that they have improved like their light strike, their more guerrilla tactics. They're not going to go in a direct confrontation, if you will, or like a big assault. So we can now build barracks, so we can produce units. We can do a light factory. Nice. And we have the outpost that gives us a radar. And the Dune universe is interesting. It's got kind of this Arabian design style, if you will, on a lot of the buildings and everything. Which works real well with the sand motif, of course, but... Alright, we gotta build our...
Construction complete. Building.
Where is the spice melange?
Construction complete. Building.
It's, I liked FMVs. Back in the day, I thought it was a reward for completing a mission, basically. For me. It was like, oh cool, I made it, then let's see what the... Because, you know, there weren't that many... Like, no one else did the FMVs like they did, I don't think. There we go, get some bad guys, kill them! If you're joining us late here, we're playing Dune 2000 for Windows 95. A homage remake, if you will, of Dune 2. Basically using the Command & Conquer Gold engine. Go. Just let me know if the volumes are off, it's always hard to tell. Building our refiner now, but it follows the standard formula. Just build better buildings, build better units, and crush the enemy, basically. But the music is really awesome. Again, and a lot of these are actual remixes of the original Dune 2 music, which is, you know, fairly bare bones, but that was for DOS, Windows 95, or not Windows 95, Amiga. Yeah, there you go. All good games. I don't think I played Journeyman. I remember definitely seeing the ads for it and everything, but I don't think I ever played it. I think oh, never mind. I thought I had it, but there's another one. Some games I have bought that I actually never, you know, played, sad to say. Where are you going, Harvester? You should go over here and harvest.
Yes, sir.
The pathfinding wasn't always the best in these old games, obviously. No argument there.
Construction complete.
May have the voice for it. Yeah, it takes a little while. You can tell that I have 5 people on now, so not hit the big times.
Building.
I don't think I'll stream for full time to make it an occupation, but it takes a lot of time apparently to do all this stuff. That's the biggest factor. I would probably stream more if I had more time. I would make more videos if I had more time. Let's go around and explore a little bit here. This is where I should be hawking my Patreon, and for, you know, extra support you get this and X and Y and Z, and I see why the big channels have to do it to survive, but it gets a little tiring sometimes to hear all that stuff.
Unit ready. Construction.
Yeah, I seem to remember seeing Journeyman being a game that how many slabs? Oh, that's a big. I need more wind traps. Wasn't that one of those that was like very story heavy and stuff?
Complete. Building.
Someone ran out of power, that would be a bad time. Normally in a game like this where you would build more harvesters to get more cash faster, but in this case I don't want to spend enough time to build another entire refinery.
Construction complete.
Construction
Cannot
complete.
build here. Training. Building.
I think there's even like different voiceovers for
Unit
for
ready. Construction complete.
the I'm just losing words now. For the different houses, you get like a different, harsher voice with Harkonnen. So
Construction complete.
and Warcraft 2 is of course legendary and a fantastic one. So this was definitely after Warcraft 2. So boy, that sounds complicated and convoluted. A lot of story there. But yeah, it's found that this did not review very well because it really did nothing new. It was a really cool, like, almost like a gift to the original RTS gamers. Like, you know what? Here's the game you loved growing up or whatever, or that you fondly remember. We're gonna remake it, and it's almost like a, you know, anniversary of it. So this flew under the radar of a lot of people, I think. But, I mean, if you play Command & Conquer, you played this. It plays identical, besides the setting, so.
Unit ready.
But my jam was definitely, I did play Warcraft 2 a lot, but then my real jam was most definitely Harvester under attack. Well, that won't do. Come here. Hey, what the? Cut that out. Whoa, worm sign.
Unit ready. Harvester under attack.
The guys... I'm focusing here now. I gotta kill these guys. The, get off the sand. The dudes do not get killed by the sandworm, remember, so. Yes, Total Annihilation for sure. That would feel like a later RTS title, though, because, I mean, that just used actual polygons on the guys and everything. So that was certainly later, as far as I'm concerned. Which was impressive when it came out, but you need a beefy machine to run that right. It's almost a P2 one. It was definitely clunky. The thing with Warcraft 2 that I like was just, I mean, Blizzard's polish is phenomenal. You can say what you will of Blizzard, but they polish their games, I mean, to the nth degree. So that's what I remember most about Warcraft 2. Is like, it's just so well made and so cool looking, and everything's unique, and yeah. Built a light factory. I need an outpost. Did the worm go away? You worm, don't bother me. Maybe we shouldn't go out here right now. The worms are very attracted to harvesters, and they will gobble them up in one thing. Oh, yeah, right. The Earth. I did have Earth 2150. I played that briefly. And the cool thing I remember about that one was that you could, like, tunnel underneath everything, right? That was a 3D one, I'm pretty sure. And allowing you to basically build, like, massive tunnels. And I played it, but I came at a time when I didn't have anyone to play with, so I didn't... It seemed like it was really cool in multiplayer, and I never played it in multiplayer. I did used to have the box for that. Missing out, unfortunately. I think I have the CD for it still, so I should play that again sometime. That's definitely a later game, though, compared to, you know, these. Then I want to build another refinery and really crank out stuff here. Let's do it.
Construction complete.
Appreciate it, but I think I actually am filling up now. I'm trying to clear out a little bit of stuff because I have built up so much stuff over time that my basement is overflowing, so I appreciate it, but yeah, I'm pretty much have to, unless it's something super interesting, I'm gonna have to hold off on donations at this point. I just have so much stuff now. I'm having a hard time keeping up, going through my stuff, and I'm just storing it, and I feel bad just like shoving it in a box, so appreciate it, but I think I'm good right now with stuff, so. Yeah, it's true customization I liked a lot. One game that really I liked quite a bit was Max, or Mechanized Assault and Exploration, which is a very, very forced title. However, it was really cool. You could... The units all look the same, it was turn-based. That you could basically... how should I say it? You couldn't customize the unit to say, like, he's going to look like this, but you could customize the specs on it. So this unit would be faster, more powerful, things like that. Again, it was turn-based, so much, much more slower. But I thought it played really well, and it was sort of methodical as you're exploring and stuff, so I like that quite a bit. Yep, over time I have built up that much retro junk and stuff, and most are just looking at what I have. And I don't mind having cool, unique stuff. I like using it. And now with the Mister that I got recently, I streamed it a while back here now, but I'll unplug it here so you can see it. This is the Mr. FPGA, and it is a fantastical device that can run as a 486. At this point, it's up to 486 90 megahertz. It can emulate a Amiga 500 or Amiga 4000, is the most powerful as you want. Atari ST, all classic consoles, 16-bit. So this has actually taken over so much of my focus now, almost, when I use daily stuff. So when I look at my collection and I see, yes, I want to keep my stuff and I want to have cool stuff. Do I really need 5 Windows XP machines ready to go anytime? Maybe not. Especially since retro LAN parties are not happening any frequent rate at this point, due to, well, the world. So that's a bummer. I'll probably get into doing that again when I can. Hoping to live stream sometime too, doing a LAN party like that, but it'll have to be a while now. There we go. Now we're gonna get the spice. Spice is life. Now we're gonna crank out our... Sorry, we can only build one at a time. This is not a queuable thing. So yeah, I have a lot of computers and stuff I like keeping. I picked up a busted up, or I shouldn't say busted up, a Apple Plus or Mac Plus recently. Or, no, sorry, Classic 1. So, and I wanted to take care of it and see if we can get going, because it has massive corrosion from a capacitor leak, which is pretty common. So I'm going to give it a whack to repair it and probably make a video on it. So that's something unique, right? I don't have a lot of those. But what I do have is several, you know, DOS, Windows 95 level machines. A lot of them ready to go. Several Windows XP machines, several Windows 98 machines. And I'm trying to just limit a little bit of that, so I don't have duplicate of duplicate of duplicate, if you will. Because it's cool, but right now I'm playing on AST 166, and it's almost equivalent to the Vectra P1 200, right? So I have to decide, like, do I need to have both of those machines around? And they both have nostalgic value, so that's the kicker. Which ones do you keep? I'm not going to just chuck everything, but I want to be a little realistic on what I pick up now and what I keep. So I don't just... I don't necessarily enjoy having stacks and stacks of stuff that I don't use. Where's the worm sign? Nope, that's not it. Where are you going? This stupid thing. Harvest over here. There's the worm sign. Oh no.
Harvester under attack.
Why did you go here? That was not smart. Go help that guy. AI in this game is not smart. So you have to manage your harvest a little bit. The fast trikes are easy enough. They can dodge these things. The harvesters are very slow. And they will get gobbled up by the sandworms. So you gotta be a little careful. I'm gonna move these guys down here. I just need to find out a base and blow it up, so it shouldn't be too much of a problem. Yeah, that's the thing too. Aljara is great. He's giving me so much inspiration, and you know, move it, guy. But that's the thing. When you go thrifting, you're very likely to find, you know, XP, 98 Vista machines, that kind of thing. 98 the best then. And I still will happily tout a good XP machine can give you so much bang for your buck. There's a lot of games that ran for Windows 98 and older. Yeah, you're not going to run DOS games on it most of the time. But I mean, Warcraft 2 runs on XP quite well. So a solidly built XP machine, even you can even do one with a PCI Sound Blaster card that has some DOS support in it. I guess it won't run in that natively, but point being, you can build a very good XP retro machine that will cover a huge cross-section of games and run quite 3D heavy games very, very well. So I think people often they look at well, it has to be you know, this ultra rare beige box from, you know, 95. You know what? No, you can have a Windows XP machine, or even a Vista machine that repurposes an XP machine. One of the most powerful XP machines I have that runs really well is like an HP black machine, you know, one of those almost, well, basically the pre-built equivalent right from that era. And put in like a GeForce 8600 GS or something, and it runs, you know, all those 3D games just beautifully. And you can find those probably at any thrift store, basically. So that's what I like about that. It's still accessible, so I'm hoping to make a video on that at some point, too, to show, you don't need to find the ultra rare. Asher? I guess. I mean, it runs everything. I guess you could run retro games in the cloud, right? Is that what you mean? There we go. So the base is clearly up here. We're going to take care of that here shortly. This game, clearly, it's fine, but it certainly is not super smooth. Did I build a second barracks? No. I can set the waypoint up. No? I like to set where they come out, but I guess I can't. Worm sign. Go away, worm.
Unit ready. Training. Unit ready. Building.
Go away, worm.
Awaiting orders. On our way. Unit ready. Training.
I don't think the harvester should be out now. So some of these stages you have to really be careful on where the worms are, because they can really wreck you up pretty fast. Meaning that, you know, if they eat your harvester, you lose your supply chain and you're really screwed. Now, what's cool is they did program the AI semi-smart for this here, and when I say that is that they won't chase a worm. Because imagine if the units just ran right in there.
Unit ready.
Yeah. Yeah, it's hard with GPUs. The cool thing is when you get into the PCI Express era, it depends on what you're going to play on, I should say, you know, right? Because if you're going to play pretty late 3D titles, you need a more powerful video card, but if you're playing XP era games, and that's the kicker, to me, a retro machine, for me, pretty much has to have XP drivers. Once you get to Vista and, you know, 7 or stuff like that, you lose a little bit of that retro stuff, you know. That's easy enough to run, but if you want to run any retro games, I think that's important that there are drivers for XP. Once you have drivers for XP, you're pretty much solid, so. But it's hard to figure out a good graphics card, because, yeah, you want something that's overpowered, but not, you know, ridiculous, I guess. Hard balance, but you can also build something really cheap, so. Yeah, it's a really cool effect that you can see it so well. And you can actually shoot it enough that it goes away for a while. So that's what I'm doing here, is I'm positioning him just to blast it when it comes right past. My 1080... So what Chris is mentioning now is my GTX 1080 that's in my main gaming rig that I've used since it was new. I would love to upgrade to 3080, but I'm not going to spend any scalping prices, so maybe eventually when they come down. But you know what it does mostly right now? Mostly right now it does video rendering, editing, and streaming. So I play modern games here and there, but I keep finding myself, especially with the Mister now, that's rekindled my love for a lot of those consoles, the 16-bit era. It placed them just so well. Mega CD games, TurboGrafx 16 CD games. It just plays all that so well. Alright, I think we have enough of an army. Let's build a silo too, because I'm sure once I start fighting here, I'm going to forget my economy and make too much cash.
Unit ready.
Unit ready.
Train.
There's always British people in sci-fi.
Unit ready. Construction.
There we go.
Unit ready.
Alright, and of course here you can actually use control buttons to unit select them or group select them.
Training.
So yeah, I think Trike, the Raider then, is unique to Ordos and is more powerful than the standard Trike in this game. So every house has its unique, like, powerful unit, if you will. Harkonnen has a very strong tank. Atreides got a sonic tank, which is very weak as far as like what it can take, but it can dish a ton of damage. Yeah, Cyberpunk 2077 is...
Unit ready.
It's gonna be... That's the one I'm a little scared of almost, because like I feel like the only way I can appreciate that game is if I take time off and play it. There's no way I can just play that casually, because I still have yet to finish Witcher 3. I feel bad for that, because I got really far into the game, but I just end up having short attention span because there's too many projects I want to work on, right? So I almost feel guilt sitting down and play. Yeah, I played WoW a lot. You know, I've played WoW a ton, and I have very fond memories, but I don't think it's the same anymore. We fired up Classic when it came out. It was cool. It's just not the same anymore. Come on. Shoot those guys.
Building. Train.
Boy, he's got a lot of infantry here.
Unit ready. Train.
Holy moly. This is the early levels here where,
Ready. Unit ready.
let's take care of his power production here. So, of course, I don't have any heavy units, so I can't, you know, use artillery or anything. I gotta actually just machine guns to blow this up, so... We take care of his power production. His buildings should shut down here. We're gonna start seeing some unit lost here now, because... we're just taking too much damage.
Unit ready. Unit lost.
We're gonna blow up that power, or wind turbine. Wind... Oh, again, I forgot.
Unit
Wind trap.
Ready.
There we go. Alright, now let's blow up his unit production here. As you lose power, the building will build slower and things like that, so it's pretty... And again, follows Command and Conquer formula to a T. Which, when it came out, I thought it was awesome, but a lot of magazines just berated it because, like, it's just the same, there's nothing new, and it doesn't always have to be something new. It doesn't have to be always groundbreaking and amazing.
Unit ready.
I have a hard time playing MMOs now, I should say, too. I've tried several probably recently, and one I heard good things about. I know, goodness, forgetting. Elder Scrolls Online was good, it was kind of classic. I certainly didn't get far enough, and I think the problem with MMOs for me now is that unless you have a group of people playing, that's what made all those games. Yeah, in this case, you must build additional silos, because you're running out of cash. It's exactly the same here. I think I have to kill everything. They gotta find the Harvester. But yes, and kill that too. You gotta watch out for the Harvester too, because they can actually run over your infantry quite easily. There might be another base down here, I guess we'll find out.
Building.
Played Warframe a little bit. I thought it was really cool. It was unique.
Harvester under attack.
What? Oh, come on. I really like that they went with their own thing, and it's really, really unique. Very unique. Alright, but for an MMO, it felt a little too untraditional for me. It's like, again, I love the style and everything, but it was just a little too different for me, I guess. So, good on them for going with it, not my cup of tea. But yeah, what I'm finding now is I'm realizing as my right in the shame that it's my Steam backlog from random sales and humble bundles and everything, games that I will literally never play. I really should spend more time playing all these retro games I have. And especially now, I mean, I keep bringing up the Mister, but this device is phenomenal. It's just so cool that you can... And to give a super crash course on the Mister, it's basically what's called an FPGA, or Field Programmable Gate Array. It basically uses the actual circuitry to mimic a game console, so it will mimic a Sega Genesis, for example, down to the circuitry. So, in this case, it will replicate it much better than just software emulation can do. And software emulation is great, you know, RetroPies are awesome, emulation on computers is great, but this does it on the hardware level, so you can gain accuracy beyond what software can do without, realistically. Because if you notice, the more accurate emulators for like NES and stuff like that, they require like a massively beefy CPU because it's expensive to emulate that much. This will do that on a hardware layer, and the FPGA is used by chip manufacturers to then be able to customize chips before they go to print. Because once you print a chip, it's printed, but an FPGA can be reconfigured. So this is a development board for engineering students that someone figured like, we can run retro games on that. And sure enough, and it runs it just so flippin' well. Fortunately, no, in this game, the infantry does not take damage over walking over the spice. There's no harm to them by that. It's just the fact that if you stand there, a worm's going to come along. I said the worms will ignore infantry, I'm pretty sure, but they certainly will go after any vehicle standing there. And the sandworm will just, and it's gone. That unit is gone, non-recoverable. So you got to be a little careful, because you put a heavy tank that costs a lot out there, and it's gone. So that really sucks. So edgy.
You have twice succeeded. You are of some value. Leave us. We will brief you on your mission.
Oh, Westwood.
The Harkonnen are stalling.
Again, it's cool. I hope that the remaster sold well enough that they can do some more stuff, because, you know what? Good on EA. I don't say that too often, but Electronic Arts, they gave Petroglyph Games basically free reign to do what they felt was needed for the remaster, and it is a fantastic bundle love letter to the original fans. It plays great. They didn't mess with the original formula. It's upscaled. So all the units, everything is re-rendered, but it plays identical in that sense. All the units are the same. There's some, you can play with like some creature comforts, like, you know, build queues, and things like that you didn't have before. You can remix and match your jukebox to play any of the tracks from any of the Command & Conquer 1 or Red Alert. And they have a whole bunch of behind-the-scenes stuff and extra levels and all the secret levels from like the PlayStation version. It just, if you see it on sale for like $15, if you like the original Command & Conquer, it's almost a no-brainer to pick it up because it is just so well made. Now then, it's up to you how well you feel like that game still holds up. It's certainly with those creature comforts in the game, it makes it a lot easier to play, but it's still Command & Conquer. Not, you know, both good and bad. So if you like that, it's great value to get that one. And I also want to support that they make more stuff. But the cool thing is that EA didn't seem to butt in at all on the development of that, which is awesome. So the Harkonnen hindered the production of spice. A Harkonnen attack will disrupt efficient production. Inefficiency cannot be tolerated. The Harkonnen must be eliminated. New weapons are available. The quads. Newer weapons are more powerful. Powerful weapons ensure victory. Objective: eliminate Harkonnen. This is the mission. This is the way. No, I haven't seen The Mandalorian yet, so awful, I should. Alright, so we have Trooper now. Missile launchers. They're actually more powerful against heavy units. They are not so great against infantry. And then the quads is like a stronger trike. That's a little slower, but has more attack power. They are definitely vulnerable to missiles. It's like a rock, paper, scissors thing in all these games. So you don't have one unit you can build for alternity. You can build a wall to keep the other guys out. So, then you make the other guys pay for it. Hey-yo! Alright, let's see. Now we have quads. So we're going to explore a little bit here and see where the spice is, because the spice is life. I don't know where the top of the map is. It's here. Okay, so we'll put the wind farm up here then. Because nothing else can be up here, really. Point being is you don't want your back of your base to have an opening, right? So I don't want to build it in the wrong direction. So up here, we'll be fine. Why don't I put one up another one, because then I can put one up here. I don't think you can put it at the top, because then the bitmap or whatever will go outside the playfield, so they don't let you do that. It has to be on one square down, but that's fine. Again, the music is fantastic. You probably can't hear it very well now, but I recommend if you like the 90s, again, Command & Conquer style music, that soundtrack is on YouTube and Spotify and everything, I think, everywhere. Just look up Dune 2000 soundtrack, and it's really good. Where is the spice? Give me the spice. Down here? Where the heck is it? Alright, let's go scouting. You go here. There it is. Okay. I think. Well, that's really far away. Could be tricky. It could be some up here too, but we'll put our over here then. But there we go. That's closer. We'll have it fairly close so they don't have to travel so far, obviously.
Construction complete. Reinforcements have arrived.
Reinforcements have arrived. Why, thank you.
Construction complete. Building.
I will say this game doesn't really have much more than this technically. I mean, you get more units, you get cooler stuff, but it's just this. It just keeps building like this. And again, I don't think... I know Blizzard was happy in StarCraft and Warcraft to put in, and especially Warcraft 3, like, you know, hero units, right? Where you had missions where you're guiding a strong unit through a stage and doing special things. None of that in Command & Conquer, basically. Yeah, there are just some fantastic music from that era. It's funny, too, because we, lately in the family now, we've just been listening to, like, 80s and 90s dance songs, things like that. And like, wow, this is really good stuff from the 90s, but I haven't played Extreme G. I do recognize the name. Is that one of those that was on 3D or Voodoo cards as well, like trying to be, problem is my game box collection is disorganized right now. Remember, I have... Oh, I don't have Extreme G, I think. I have, like, G Police or something like that. Which is, like, another flying, 90s, you know, lighting effect bonanza thing. Yeah, I want turrets. I like turrets. I like being able to build and just like protect my base, so but I don't have that yet. Thanks. Alright, let's build a barracks. We're cramming out units here.
Construction complete.
Building. Anything to the left here? Oh, okay, so this is actually my little backyard with spice. That's nice. Spice is nice. That means that they will come from this direction. That helps me defend.
Very well.
I can probably cram on another refiner here fairly quickly and just set up my economy pretty well.
Yes. Orders out. Construction complete.
Oh, you have to walk where I need to build. Not cool, dude.
Yes.
So the quads have missiles, so they're more powerful against heavier things, but they're very weak against infantry, so...
New construction.
We just upgrade. So you can upgrade the barracks to produce more advanced units, so there we go. Staple of RTS games. But yeah, I think we... Oh, hey, whoa, hey, what's going on there, dude? Come from this way?
Orders out. Training. Orders out.
Guess we'll have to station some...
Unit ready.
More guys over here, too. We'll do this. We'll move one of those guys over here. Move these guys over here. We're going to crank out some more units there. We will build another wood trap.
Unit ready.
3 units. Am I going to say no there?
Complete.
I have a soft spot for the... There were a lot of games that run in 64 that were on the Voodoo cards with, like, what I categorize as, like, early accelerated games with just, like, heavy use of color lighting. You know, you're Unreal and those games, which wasn't on the 64, but similar games. There's a lot of cool ones from that era. They just look so awesome with their color lighting.
Building. Training.
Keep cranking out. I can probably upgrade this too.
Upgrading.
Do
Construction.
it at the same time. Cool.
Unit ready. Building. Unit ready. Training. Construction complete. Unit ready. Building.
Build a little wall here too soon.
Training.
That's the thing with RTSs, like, I enjoy them, but I can never play them competitively. I'm just not fast enough. I mean, I'm very inefficient, and it feels like any of these games you have to get really good at if you're going to play online. I actually had a fun experience playing Red Alert over with a modem first time. I connected to someone in America. I didn't grow up in America, but probably from my accent, but I played online against a guy in Red Alert, and I thought, like, yeah, I'm doing pretty good. It's like, and then I sent my spy plane across the map, and it was just like half the map was his base. I'm like, oh, I'm so screwed. Sure enough, he just destroyed me. But then he's like, good game, nice, you know, whatever. That was when, I guess it was a little more civil back then, I suppose. A simpler time, a more civilized time. Yeah, that's also the reason I feel like, you know, I really do really enjoy playing these older games, and I should just play more of them, because there's a ton of cool new games coming out, but every time you get one of those, like, I started playing Assassin's Creed Odyssey, which of course is a bad example, because it's like the largest open world game like ever freaking made, and I really enjoyed it, but then all the time I'm playing this is like, I'm doing just the same thing over and over, but I could go through a lot of the cool back catalog and discover a lot of these really cool games that either I'd never played or that I want to revisit, and that's where I'm sort of realizing that I should probably stick to retro for a while now, and just explore that kind of stuff, because it just honestly gets overwhelming. There's too many new games coming out, for better or worse. We're spoiled for selection now, but I remember in the 90s when I was waiting for like a one PC game to come out or something, like, you know, you waited and it came out and it was amazing, and there wasn't that many games coming out that fast. There's so many publishers, so many developers now, which they just make amazing games, no doubt about it. But boy, did I crank out games fast now. And they keep updating, and special open world games, which I used to love, but I certainly have open world fatigue now. Open world can serve the game very well. I think Witcher 3 is a good example. It's huge, but it feels, you know, populated. But, I mean, Ubisoft really beat that horse to death with 14 gajillion map points and who knows what. I think we'll need another sand trap for a map. So we're cranking out some wall too to protect ourselves.
Construction complete.
Let's see, can I put another... No, I doubt it. Alright, we'll have to be down here.
Unit ready. Building. Training. Construction complete. Building. Building.
I'm gonna build a radar.
New construction options. Unit ready.
There we go.
Training.
Now we can build the quads.
Unit ready.
All I think of is that if anyone's played Mass Effect, so it's going to become TMI now, I guess, but the Krogan, the big dudes in that game, like the big, like, you know, strong race in that game, they are endowed with quads instead of, you know, balls, so that's the joke there. Riding the quads, so that's all I think of now, so now you think of it too. Alright, let's build... Keep cranking out stuff, I guess. Got the moolah for it. And build our radar. Build a little nice wall here to protect ourselves. Make sure they don't pop in unannounced. At least funnel them to where my units are.
Training. Unit ready. Building. Construction complete.
Again, like so many of these Command & Conquer games, you just crank out units to the nth degree. So
reinforcements have arrived.
Yeah.
Construction complete.
So, with new retro games, there's certainly games that are, you know, pure pixel art that are really cool. I've enjoyed some of those games on the Vita, actually. What's it called? Iconoclast, I thought was really cool. It almost blows my mind that games can be so pixely and then so deep still. And that was a love project by, like, you know, passion project by one guy. I certainly enjoy Metroidvania games. I'm a big fan of those. So, you know, Bloodstained. I started playing that. I was really impressed. I haven't gotten that far. I'm trying to think of anything else that's like directly retro style recently. Because it's almost weird to think that you have a game that is just using graphics from like the 90s, whatever, that is so deep, like another modern game. So it's almost odd to see that now. But people put a lot of effort into the games, and I'm actually drawing a blank right now, but I could have sworn there were other ones I played recently that I really enjoyed. I will say I tend to buy those kind of thing on console, I think, because it works well on just, you know, leaning back and playing. And I do have a Steam Link and things like that too, but probably leave some guys over here, huh? Forgot about that. Put some walls.
Unit ready. Building.
You don't have any gates. That's what I liked about Tiberian Sun, I think. That you're allowed to build gates, and that looked so cool.
Building.
But otherwise, I'm trying to think of other games that are like purely retro-styled. My wife loved Dead Cells.
Building.
One that I thought was really cool too. I haven't played it yet, honestly. I really should. It looks really cool. It's not your rated roguelites.
Construction complete.
There we go, dude.
Unit ready. Our base is under attack.
Just drove right up in there. Not nice. Oh, don't break my...
Construction complete. On our way. Building.
Really?
Unit lost.
That's ridiculous. The guys are just standing there.
Unit lost.
Because I can't get through. That's the AI. Yeah, Time Spinner I heard really, really good things about. I think it's a pretty short game, isn't it? But it looks really cool, and it feels like a game I should play on the Vita. I'm not one of those, like, you know, Vita for life, and that's the only thing I'll ever play on. But the screen is really good for that sort of game. I love the OLED on that. I have the Gen 1.
Construction complete.
Alright, we better get a move on here so we can actually
Unit lost.
push through and stop this production here a little bit, because it's getting ridiculous.
Building. Training.
Oh, the AI.
Construction complete.
Come on. Oh, worm sign.
Unit ready.
Return, return. I think as long as you're moving, you're okay, but if you... And this is where the RTS will start getting a little stressful, because you have a lot of things to juggle at the same time.
We are ready. On our way. Awaiting orders. Very well. Training. Orders out. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Orders received. Unit ready. Very well.
Yeah. Yeah, Time Spinners, I think... I could have sworn there was a... Because Time Spinner's the one where you have two orbs, like Metroidvania, where the girl has two orbs that she throws things, right? I'm pretty sure that was on Vita, so... some of the publishers have taken almost into like an interest to like, we're gonna publish everything on the Vita because it's cool.
Unit lost. Unit ready.
Out. Okay, so what's going on with my army here now? Yep, there's one guy fighting there. Come on, guys.
Yes. Unit lost.
Alright, let's push ahead a little bit so we can actually make some progress.
Building.
The Chucklefish have published a lot, I think, on those sort of games. And I think that the problem is that they're... okay, so yeah, then yeah, I'm pretty sure that was on the Vita. I remember watching a video on it and like, this is really cool. And it was pretty short, I remember. But I heard really good things, so I really should check it out.
Unit ready. Very well. Orders out. Building.
And for me, it lends it pretty well to in the Portal format there, so... But then I got, like, you know, I got a modded Game Boy Advance, and that plays really good, and it just... They keep just adding and adding and adding stuff, but, of course, it becomes part of the just collecting at that point, right? Which isn't bad, but I also feel I should probably actually try and enjoy what I have, too, sometimes. Because I do like the Switch. I think it's a fantastic console with a fantastic format. Yeah, the Mummy Demastered. I heard about that. That was, like, a total, like, sleeper hit. Like, here's, like, we'll just make a tie into a movie, and we're gonna make it a total, like, Super Metroid-style game, right? I'm actually playing, recently I started playing a hacked version of Super Metroid, which sounds ridiculous, but it's Hyper Metroid. If you like Metroidvanias, you may have heard of that one. But it's a reimagining of Super Metroid, which works really, really, really well. They put whoever made it, and honestly, I'm not sure if it was probably a team, but it's very well made. It's like on a darker take on Super Metroid, and a different progression, larger areas to explore. It's like playing Super Metroid again for the first time, and I just found myself getting just swept up in it because I was so engaging. Don't run over my guys. Thank you. There we go. Blew up his harvester. That should take his economy for a ride there. I should really have these guys selected. There we go. Alright. Here comes a new harvester, but we're gonna try and wreck his... Focusing right now, but wreck his economy before he can recover. Alright, blow up that refinery. Post haste. Oh, watch out for the... Oh, squish! Oh, don't run over my guys. It's not cool. Come on! There we go. Do we have any new production here? Not really yet. We'll do the best of what we can here now. Wreck his economy a little bit. Of course, we should focus on the construction yard, because once you blow that up, then you, yeah, you could do that. So that's what I did there. You can use Control 1 and recall that. So you still number 1 here next to the units. That does help a lot, no doubt. Alright, let's blow up his construction yard, because at least he can't build anything new. There we go. Now he can rebuild if we break. Okay, that trike there is wreaking havoc with the... There we go. Alright, let's blow up his production facilities. I'm playing on easy, obviously, and blah blah blah, but you know what? I like playing on easy. I will say it straight up. I have no problem with it. I want to have a good time with my game. I know plenty of people that just, like, they love hard games, which can be evidenced by a lot of modern retro games, you know, quote unquote, that, like Aleste and things like that, that are trying to be hard, which is fine. That's, you know, it's great, enjoyable, but I don't find those games enjoyable, so I will say that straight up. So I really enjoy playing games on easier difficulty and just having a good time. I just have too little time to play games to grind against it over and over. I'll just lose interest. I don't have enough attention span or time to focus on a game for that long. So, again, those type of games are really, really good and cool, but...
Reinforcements have arrived.
Oh, good. Reinforcements have arrived. I'll just send these guys down here.
Yes. Unit ready. Yes.
Fortunately, you cannot hop to. That's some of the other games you can. When you have units selected like that, you can just double tap the button that hops to that location. It does not do that here. Whoops, daisy. Let's just let worm take care of the harvester. Let's see if we can see the worm devour this harvester here now. Didn't take it. Oh, there you go. Bye bye, harvester. Really cool animation too. So that is an X-harvester. Yeah. Yeah, I'm just not as good. It's fun too, because, you know, you had time, you had the commitment, and probably skill set. I mean, I'm getting older, so it's not as easy to play those reflex games. I really, really enjoy just, you know what, I'm gonna have a good time. Find difficulty that works for you. I think Shadow Warrior 2 recently came out. The difficulty was like, the easiest one was like, you know what, you had a hard day at work? Literally, the description on the difficulty was, you want to feel like a superhero? Here you go. You know, you do twice damage, they take... you take half damage, and all the weapons are badass, basically. So, you know what? Good. Let them play the way you want to. I hate games that try and penalize you for picking the lower difficulty or something like that, which was a staple of the 90s, when games didn't last that long. And their difficulties were what kept the replayability there, right? Keeps getting harvesters. Alright, well, the worm can eat that too, I guess. Those guys basically froze here. Their AI just, like, locked up. They don't know where to go. We have to guide them. But I have a feeling he might have another base, but I kind of doubt it. We'll find out. I do believe I have to destroy everything, so... chase stuff down here. If anyone's joining us late, we're playing Dune 2000 on Windows 95 in this case. A classic PC title that is made by Westwood, who made the Command & Conquer series. So if you know what Command & Conquer, this is basically that game set in the Dune universe. So, to very quickly summarize it, there's not much more to it in that. But it's really, you know, great homage, so... So there's that harvester there doing nothing. I guess you guys can go down here and take a look. I wish I could, like, double tap, just fly to the location, but I can't. So there's an old wind trap there. All my infantry died. Why don't we send a few of these trikes up here to take care of the harvester? They're gonna come down and meet here now. Oh, worm sign. Hello, worm. Move! Don't stop! Get away from the worm! If you played No Man's Sky, which is one of those like massive exploration games, which, I mean, almost the an ocean 2 inches deep kind of thing going on, but it just added worms, I think. Massive, like, gigantic worms that come and devour you, which is pretty cool. I haven't played that update yet. I played No Man's Sky a little bit, but it was one of those games that's so overwhelming you have to commit to, and it's really cool, but I find myself like not be able to commit to playing it as much as I may need to really enjoy it. Again, which is why I'm kind of just going into retro mode recently and just playing a lot of retro games. It just, there's so many games I want to explore that I never did, never took the time, that I haven't yet. So I think I'm just trying to come to terms with the fact that no, I will not play through every new modern games that comes through. I do really want to play... Well, hello. I do really want to play Cyberpunk 2077, though, for sure. Just from CD Projekt Red, I want to support them. They're just so good. And I like Cyberpunk in general, so that seems like a no-brainer at that point. I think PC, I guess. Probably the best one for me on that one, but... So yeah, you have to find every unit and destroy every unit before you can progress, so... Alright, I'm moving up in rank. I'm also a Sand Flea, now I'm a Sand Warrior. Sweet.
Ordos took advantage of the Harkonnen.
Alright, so then your faction, your planet will of course take over more and more of the map. While you watch that cutscene, I'm gonna go grab myself a beverage. I'll be right back. Mango Bubbly on the menu tonight, so... So one little thing that this game adds, a little quirk, is that there are sub-factions that you can align yourself with. And you have... If you watch the if you watch the Dune movies or know anything about it, the Fremen are the indigenous people that live on Dune. They all speak English, fortunately. Or they have universal translators, doesn't matter. You can align yourself with them to get different bonuses. And they developed it even further in a sequel to this called Emperor Battle for Dune. A pseudo-sequel, I should say. I think Command & Conquer General set on Dune, and it's a really cool game, so I'll have to stream that sometime too. Or make a video on it. But, so capture the outpost at Sietch Tabr. The smugglers at Sietch Tabr must be neutralized. Capture the outpost where their families have taken shelter as insurance. The children's lives will assure the loyalties of their fathers. Use an engineer to enter a captured building. The smugglers' new partners to Harkonnen may attempt to protect them. Harkonnen firepower is great, but we have recently acquired tanks that may counter this. Ensure our investment is used wisely. So yeah, Ordos is not nice. That house is not nice. They use anything they can to be mean, basically. So we can build an MCV, which means we can build a new construction yard and then actually deploy another building area. So that's the way we would expand. So there's an engineer, which if you play Command and Conquer, they can capture a building. And we have combat tank, light tank, basically. Your basic tank, everyone has them. Vulnerable to missiles and high caliber guns. Heavy factory that builds the tanks. And we have repair pad, which is nice. You can repair your units. So no healing on the infantry, but the units can be repaired. So all right, and here we are again at the beginning. So now we have some tanks. Huzzah!
Awaiting orders. On our way. Very well. Construction complete.
Is there enough to put a... Yeah, we can put a refinery right there. Nice. We're gonna put a
Building.
wind trap. I keep saying the wrong word there.
Awaiting orders. Very well. Construction complete.
Should have built it there. Oh well. There's some efficiencies you can do, and of course I'm not good at these games by a long shot. I'm not an RTS gamer, but I mean I played RTS a lot of 90s. Yeah, between you know, Warcraft. I played Warcraft 1, a demo on it, and I didn't play through that game very far because Warcraft 2 by far is where it's at, you know, on a Warcraft scale. Played that a ton. And then Command and Conquer was my game for sure. I just love the cutscenes, and we're trying our best to get through every mission just to see the cutscene. And the funny part is, in the release version of Command and Conquer, at least in Europe, there was a problem so that you played as Nod. So the idea being there was 2 separate campaigns, like it is here, there's 3. Each one had unique cutscenes. Cool, right? So you get to play it again and experience a different story from a different angle. On the Nod one, it didn't play the cutscenes, so we're just like, that's weird. We played through like half the game and there were no cutscenes. That's odd. It's like, why is there cutscenes only for one faction? It's like, oh well. And then found out later there was a patch, and they patched it, and all of a sudden, like, whoa, okay, there's cutscene between every mission here too. It was like crazy. So that was pretty fun. Played through half the game that way. No. My high school, they had StarCraft tournaments, or not tournaments, they all just got together in a computer lab like every Tuesday and Thursday, I think, and just play StarCraft until I fell asleep, basically. So that's where I saw. I didn't attempt to compete or play with them because, like, no. There were some guys there that were just like, oh my goodness, you are so quick. I can't even believe it. So that was an eye-opener for me that I will never ever play any of these games successfully online. It's just not going to happen. I do enjoy it in multiplayer. A couple of years ago, and I did have a few friends over, and we played Warcraft 2 in LAN, and that was pretty fun. There was like, I think it was at least one of you, I think, is watching that was part of that. But I think we played like 4 or 5 players. That was pretty fun. But then one guy was like, "Oh yeah, I kind of remember this," and just like freaking destroyed us. It's like, "Oh yeah, you kind of remember it?" Yeah, he's like, "Yeah, I still play it." I'm like, yeah, I thought so. Just wrecked us.
Building. Reporting. Orders received. Construction complete.
I have to be a little creative here with the design here because the map is a little lopsided here, right? So I want to leave a little space so I can actually get my units out, things like that.
Construction complete.
I keep doing that. I keep thinking, oh well, let's put more slabs down there cheap. And they don't penalize you too much in the beginning here for not doing great. And I'm playing on easy, so whatever. I really like some turrets. That's when I feel I can really trust my base, because right now I kind of have to move the units around. I really wish I could build some turrets here, but I don't remember if there were any.
Construction complete. New construction.
I love little flourishes of like the wind trap making, you know, idle animations happening on vehicles and buildings. I always enjoy that. I think it just looks cool.
Building. Training. Construction complete. Unit ready.
We're going to build another refinery so we can really cash in here.
Yes. Orders out. Construction complete.
Already worms time?
Unit
No.
ready. Training.
I wish I could set the exit point here, but
Construction complete.
And a lot of these games used different, like unit queuing, and how they handle multiple buildings. Some let you then produce faster, like in this, and some let you have different exit points. Like one building produces one thing while another one produces another. In this thing here, I think it just speeds up the production speed, or you can set a primary building above all. So, yeah. Yeah, the SNES was... I love the SNES, of course. SNES is, you know, all hail the SNES, right? It's still fantastic, but hard to compete with a PC in the 90s, because the 90s is like the first golden era of PC gaming to me. That's when it really took off, right? You had the... From the computer scene, the IBM PC was not a gaming machine by a long shot. And then more and more games started appearing, but then they couldn't really compete with things like the Amiga, which had fantastic multimedia. And then Nintendo was pouring money into the SNES, and it was amazing, Genesis, all this stuff. Then, the 90s happened, like the later 90s, and Windows and DOS PCs just took off. Like, 3D acceleration came in, and it just, like, freaking shot up. And there were so many good games. I mean, a lot of the games I have behind me are from that era. There were just so many good games from that generation that just...
Building.
I can't even think of so many, but yeah. I basically got off consoles basically after Super Nintendo, not directly by choice. I had access to a lot of games because my parents had a rental for Super Nintendo and Nintendo. So that's what we played. That was Nintendo. That's all we had, because my parents were never gonna... They didn't buy games, really, because we can rent them for free. And now, you know, we didn't keep them. Of course, we had to give them back to the place we rented them from, because that was... we needed to make money. But it gave me access to a ton of games I would not otherwise have played. So... that made it so I basically was a very specific time frame that I enjoyed console gaming, and after that I was out of the console loop probably until I would say the GameCube. I mean, I missed out on basically N64, PlayStation. I rented that a little bit, had access to it here and there. Otherwise, I didn't play really consoles. Then I think a lot of people got the GameCube when it was really cheap there for a while. They were basically just fire sailing them. At that point, like, oh crap, I'll buy a GameCube and I'll play Metroid Prime. Oh my goodness, this game is cool. Oh, this game is cool. And I just kept buying games that way, right? And enjoyed that backlog or that library at that point. Light Factory? So then I was out of the loop there for console games for a long time, and I was a PC gamer for the longest time. And, I mean, I still am to some degree too, but I certainly enjoy consoles. But yeah, I never had access to Sega CD. I grew up in Europe, so it was certainly I never knew anyone having a Mega CD, as they were called there. Upgrade that. Probably another wind thing already. Certainly didn't know anyone who had it. Most people I knew at that time had gone into PC gaming, and some had consoles, PlayStation, stuff like that. But now on... that was poor placement. The Mister plays the entire Sega CD library flawlessly, as far as I know. And that's allowed me to re-explore a lot of these games that I never had a chance to play. And I love the Sega CD games, because it's got like Pop Full Mail on those games where they use the extra storage space to great effect with great music, you know, recorded dialogue, and it just, I love... Oh, there goes one Harvester. Bye, Harvester. I don't know if I get a new one or not. We'll find out. What am I building? On a wind trap. So, I just lost a Harvester, so we'll see if I can build a new one later with the Heavy Factory, because that's gone forever. So I heard the lightning crackling, and then it was just gone. And it was really sucks if it's vacuumed up enough spice and it's gone. Yeah, that's the thing with the... I just encourage you to check out its... if you go Mr. FPGA, just the GitHub for it. Just Google that, and just go to the GitHub page for that, and you'll see what it supports, but it will play... I mean, all the 8-bit micros, if you're interested in that. It will play Amiga, every Amiga game, basically. It will play Super Nintendo, Genesis, NES, Master System, Game Gear, Game Boy, all the Sega CD games, TurboGrafx 16.
Reinforcements have arrived.
Ooh, large force approaching. That's good. Thanks for the heads up.
Awaiting orders. Very well.
Guess I got some reinforcements.
Awaiting orders. On our way.
So yeah, it plays. So that's allowed me to explore that. And what's sitting here is, of course, a PVM. You don't have to have that, but with the hat on here, you get analog video output. So you can connect this to a CRT without any configuration, really. You just set a flag in the configuration file and you're done. And it outputs HDMI and either VGA component or RGB, like I'm doing with this guy here. Crystal clear. So you get basically as good of a picture quality as you could possibly get from those consoles. Just right like that, without any extra work. Yeah, there are some cool cases. I would say the case market isn't quite as established for that yet. So while there are some cool cases, none that really like look amazing. So what I'm hoping to do is, oh come on, more worm sign. What I'm hoping to do is build, basically take it apart and build it into a. Sorry, I'm multitasking now, but. And build it into a small form factor PC case at some point, because the I/O board, and I'll actually pause this because I'm getting so distracted now. But so the base board is just this bottom part here. That's the actual D10 Nano board that you need. So the thing with this is it's definitely more expensive than the Pi. This base board is $140, and with that you can do TurboGrafx 16, Genesis, NES, not even NES, things like that. It needs an extra memory expansion module. 32 meg is $20. 128 is like 60. Those have to be custom made, so that's why. The base board is made by Intel, so those are available everywhere, but these things are handmade by people in the community, right? So that's why it says Mr. FPGA up there. I'll do this real quick. So you have Mr. FPGA, what it says up here. So the top board is basically a thing made by the community. Someone designed this, so not only does it have the I/O port here for the, this is output VGA, RGB, component, whatever it is you configure it. It's got audio out. This USB port is not relevant, it's not used. Sync on green switch, an extra memory card slot for the consoles that take care of that. But above all, it's got a whole bunch of extra pins on here, so you could actually solder in a power switch. You can do an LED. So these LEDs light up when there's like seek lights going on. So if you put this in a case, you could run a route that power button, reset button, and things like that to the case. So you can actually use a case directly. And I've seen some really cool mods that do that. But otherwise, it runs, you know, like this basically. But just the flexibility in what you can do with this, especially being able to output native RGB video, it looks just phenomenal. So I have streamed with this before, and I will definitely do that again. It's a fun way for me to explore, and it actually made me pack away my Amiga 500 that was sitting right here, because it's old and needs some TLC to be up to snuff. And you know, you spend as much on one accelerator for that as this does. So, is this the same? No, it's not the same as doing an actual Amiga, but it gets pretty darn close. And a convenience factor of being able to dump like everything on there. And it's funny because it supports external media, and I actually grabbed like this. Just an old spinning drive and slapped in one of my little docks, and I dumped like the entire Sega CD library, and I dumped the entire TurboGrafx 16 library, Game Boy Advance library. All of that is on here because it's dirt cheap, and it reads it just fine. So the thing with the performance on FPGA, it's not a CPU in that sense. So the cooling is there because it does run hot, but the FPGA core, it's not a processor in the same way. It has an ARM processor on too that handles the Linux part of it, that runs the OS on it, but it's not a processor that gets faster. The thing with the FPGA is the logic circuits. You need, logic circuits are basically like pathways that the data can take, right? Or the electrical signal can take. And that's on an IC. It's already burned, it's done, that's how it's programmed, right? You can't redo an IC or integrated circuitry. The FPGA is a IC, but it's reconfigurable. So what you're limited by is how many logic circuits you have. So there's like 10,000 logic circuits on this, and the upper limit of that, right now someone's working on a PlayStation 1 core. They say the 46 core on here now, because it does like Soundmaster 16 emulation, all that good stuff on this guy. So if even you buy this from one of the consoles, you still get like 20 consoles plus like 40 different like classic computers for free, more or less. And you can run all this in software emulation, but the fact that they are basically taking the real chips and emulating them so accurately on the hardware, that's what makes this so amazing. They're taking arcade boards. There's like hundreds of arcade games on here. Like the original Donkey Kong is emulated near flawlessly. What they did is they take the original arcade PCB and they grind down the chips to see the pathways, and they use a microscope to then trace the pathways and then recode it on the FPGA. So there's no real point in overclocking, you really can't. It's not running faster or slower or anything like that, so it's the amount of logic circuits available, so it's basically the space on the chip that's the problem now. That's what they're running into.
Lost.
Shooting. Oh, hi.
Waiting orders. Unit lost.
Go help those guys.
Orders out. Unit lost. Orders out. Training.
There's our large force approaching.
Waiting orders.
They're gonna come from up here, I guess.
Ready. Construction complete.
And we have a lot of wind traps here.
Waiting orders.
So now it's a large force there.
On our way.
I'd like to build a heavy factory,
Complete.
so I can crank out some more stuff. Yeah, that's pretty much what happens. That's what it does, is every time you load up something, it loads a core, and it reconfigures the logic circuits to mimic that hardware. So it uses a HDL or hardware description language to do that, which is portable, so that if there's a more powerful chip like this in the future, they could redo it again. But yes, so that's what happens. It reconfigures, basically, imagine it like, you know, transforms, like a transformer. It transforms to the hardware you want, and then you can load the game on it. And then you go into the next hardware mode, meaning you switch to the Genesis, now you can load Genesis games. So that's kind of how it operates. The harvester should move ASAP, otherwise I'm screwed. Do one more wind trap,
Building.
and then we'll build a heavy factory. So yeah, that's basically it. So the limitation again is not only that, yes, someone has to program it, right? Someone has to design it and figure out logic circuits, how to mimic the console. That's better explained on that GitHub page, if you can read through it. Once you Google it, you'll find it pretty quickly, and there's lots of videos on it. But it's basically, if you're familiar with the analog NT, the analog pocket, the Sega, what is it, Sega MG or NG, whatever they call it, that's FPGA. That's what they do. They took the original console and they basically look at the circuitry and they try and mimic it as close as possible. Because no one's going to make the circuitry anymore, the original circuitry, to produce this, right? It's going to be emulation, like the NES Mini, SNES Mini, all those classic, or Sega Mini, and then the SNES Classic and that stuff. No one will make that again. What this does, it basically gets as close as you can without producing the circuitry again. And it can be reconfigured, so they keep adding stuff constantly. So every time they add new cores and new stuff to it, it's like for in Christmas. No one thought they would be able to produce things like, trying to think now, Neo Geo came out recently. So you can play the entire Neo Geo library on this thing, and it's basically the same as playing the real thing. Is it really a real thing? Not really, but it gets us pretty darn close, and they keep adding features. Like the 486 core, they figured out caching on that this summer, and the speed was like quadrupled. Like, because now it can emulate basically a get out the sand, a 4690 megahertz. It can't probably do a Pentium. It's not going to do that. They have figured out soft emulation of like the Roland MT32. That's on there as well. That's running on the ARM piece of it, and the ARM processor, I believe, is about as strong as a Raspberry Pi Zero, I think is what they said. So it's more used for maintenance tasks, things like that, but the FPGA itself is pretty much hitting the limit with the 486. They don't have enough space anymore on it to do anything else. I mean, people will come out and do it, and there's so much active development that's going on right now. It's just crazy. And it's just, excuse me, really exciting. Get out of there right now. Cheese it!
Construction.
I really hope I can build a harvester now, because Yes. Alright. We're gonna build on a harvester. That guy can... Yeah. Alright, so for me, it's the single most exciting, like, retro development that's come out, because I'd love to get RGB cables for all my consoles. I want to get, you know, this and that, and flash carts, and this does all that now, so that I can build other stuff if I want to. If I want to play on original Genesis, I can, but when you plug this into a TV or a console and play it, I mean, I forget I'm playing on emulation. On the Raspberry Pi, it's close, but I certainly don't forget I'm playing on emulation most of the time. There's always some little quirk, even though I have it hooked up to a CRT as well. And the fact that with that hat, that I get the dual is awesome too, because I can stream it so I can capture the HDMI, which gives a very clear picture, plus play on a CRT without any fuss really. It's just great. So it's basically made for streamers more in that sense. So it's just a really, really cool device, and they keep adding stuff to it. I said lately what they've been doing a lot is adding arcade cores. They're working on CPS 1 right now, which is your Ghouls and Ghosts, Ghosts and Goblins, the Capcom, Street Fighter 2 arcade emulation, things like that. And it's got a bit of a taboo thing to say emulation. People are trying to be snobs about it and say like, well, no, this is hardware replication. It's like, I mean, whatever you want to call it, it's still emulating a system in that sense. The way I see it is still emulation. So I'm not afraid of calling it that. I feel so far that I was, like for example, I was playing Super Castlevania on it, a game I love, and I played it on the Pi many times, and it always felt a little off. But when you play it with a USB plugged-in controller, and I use one of these like 8-bit DOS, you know, they have 14 different versions, right? With plugged in, the latency on it is almost close to the real thing, and they make adapters so it allows you to plug in an original controller as well, which brings the lag to 0. Literally, there's no lag between the FPGA components. My goodness, those freaking worms. Between the FPGA component and the... where did my harvester go? Oh, there it is. Alright, fine. That's fine. 0 lag between the hardware and the controller. So, yeah, that's the thing. Now you're getting deeper into stuff that, you know, I'm just a layman, right? So, the OS part of it is just a Linux kernel running on it, right? That handles the operating system. The FPGA itself is HDL, it's a hardware description language, so that's apparently a common thing they use in industry because, you know, when they're making like a new chip for a phone, that's someone's writing an HDL, right? I'm assuming someone has to write the hardware description language to talk to the actual chips and everything. So, and it can reproduce that way. But so that's the layer that they're working on mostly. It's almost like an engineering component more than just like hardware, just software programming. But again, there's tons of people doing videos on it as well. I am just a layman when it comes to that. I've only had mine for a few weeks, really. And I watched a lot of videos on it. The GitHub page is great for resources. My goodness. Jeez. Worms everywhere. Let's start cranking out some tanks and stuff here, because we gotta get going on cracking that, or finding the base. We will have to build at least one engineer. Gotta baby that guy. I don't think there's a troop transport here at all. At least not yet. Okay, I can build both of those. Yeah, I would highly encourage. There's a channel called Smoke Monster. He does a lot of FPGA, and I'm planning on doing my own series on the Mister as well. I just enjoy covering it. So I'll talk about like the, you know, what is it, and then do probably a video per core, and core being then each configurable. Oh, that's right, I didn't build a repair pad. I lost that unit. Can I build that here? Each core then is the part that gets configured to allow the hardware to be mimicked, basically. So I can build a repair pad here. So yeah. I was gonna say something important there, but yeah, so that's what I'm planning on doing, is probably just make a video per core, you know, to kind of go through what it can do, what it can't do, where it's at the moment, you know, things like that, and hoping those can be a little fun, not super deep technical dive, but the features that they add just depends on the developer or programmer what they do, because the cores can have like scaling options, so it basically has an OSSC built in that sense, because they can do perfect pixel scaling on HDMI. So even if you don't do any of the VGA, RGB stuff and just go with HDMI output, it looks phenomenal. You can add scan lines, and when I say add scan lines, it's not a bitmap filter that lays on top of the image. It actually inserts in between the pixels, like accurately and properly aligned. So it, you know, I could gush about this for hours because it's probably my favorite piece of technology I've gotten into for a long time, and I kind of get that sense of wonder, especially exploring. Did I lose my freaking harvester?
Unit repaired.
Ugh. No, it's going back. Okay. That thing better not have swallowed my harvester again. And the map shows a little white dots. It's probably hard to see on the scale here, but when we're gonna repair our units here now. Be cranking out some units.
Training. Unit repaired.
Unit repaired.
Unit ready.
See, the way I try and approach with these videos and everything is like, of course everyone's covered it. There's no way, and I don't really have an interest in trying to be unique, I guess, if that makes sense. I'm not trying to say, look at this weird, like, one-off console I found in this thrift store. Like, that's really cool, and it's very rare that people find that. I just want to do what I enjoy. That's what I want to cover, right? Which is why I did the rapid video on the Crusade No Remorse. This is the game I really like. And I think that if you don't have the passion for it or interest in it truly, it kind of shines through when you're just making a business out of it. Like, not to throw shade here or whatever, but I love the 8-Bit Guy's videos. Like, they're very informative, everything. He runs it like a business. So I don't feel he always has the same passion behind it. And I hate to say that, because I love his channel. But I feel like, you know, his primary purpose is to produce a business out of it. And I feel that shows a little bit, so I really hate to say it, I mean no disrespect. I do truly enjoy his videos, but I do get that feeling, so. There we go, I'm building MCV now if I need to. I gotta keep cranking stuff out here.
Training.
Have a nice little force here soon. Don't have anything that needs to be repaired. You can go on there. If you have played Command & Conquer, you will certainly remember a repair pad as well. It's identical. So.
Repairing.
Repairing.
Building. Training. Standing by.
That's where I wish I could build a turret, because I want to have something in the base, so I can just move my main strike force up here and take care of business.
Unit ready.
I guess I will build my engineer too.
Yes. Awaiting orders. We are ready. On our way.
Definitely needs some more tanks. Whoops, it easy.
Yes, sir. Unit ready.
Do a hole there. I need more.
Unit ready.
Oh, okay. There's a sandworm again. And the challenge I find when making videos is that, as you probably notice now, when you just unchain me, I will just ramble and talk and talk and talk and talk. So that's the problem with videos, is to slow down my pace and, like, take a breath in between. So, because it's hard to decide what to cover in a video. There's often lots to do, and a video feels like it's never perfect and never will be perfect. So you have to, like, cut the cord and just, you know, release it sometimes. But that's why it takes a long time to make videos too. No, there's no heal here, so there you go. Start just chomping down on the spice in the ground. We'll be fine. Alright, I think we have a little strike force here now. I'm going to take this guy, this group out here, and see what we can find. Of course, my infantry is very slow by comparison. So I have my engineer. I keep building units, I think. So the thing with this is, like, you kind of have this slow, like... Yeah, they're gonna, like, get killed because they send in one at a time, right? It takes forever for them to move around. Or the AI goes nuts and just like, hey, you know what, I can't get around here, so I should probably drive around the whole map through the enemy base to get there. Sounds like a plan. The AI is not smart. How would pathfinding know to go there, you know? You kind of got to baby the units in this game, unfortunately. It's just early RTS games, right? The AI just was not very good. blow up the tank. So you have basically... yeah, it's true. That's what I tend to do in these games. Look! Herp-a-derp, just gonna drive right through the enemy base. No problem at all.
Train.
I build like massive forces so I can overwhelm them. That's kind of my MO when it comes to these games.
Unit ready.
He has turrets. That's not fair. At least want the group to be, you know, collected.
Our base is under attack.
Really?
Standing by. Confirmed. Confirmed. Orders received.
Building.
Orders out.
Okay, let's see if we can take care of business here now. Whoops.
Unit lost. Our base is under attack.
There we go. That's where the missile infantry is coming into play here now, because they can really do damage. They're hard to hit by the tanks, and they can do really good damage on them. So.
Our base is under attack.
Alright, who is shooting us? Not you. You guys, go take care of that guy. We're just gonna stand right here and let our construction yard get pummeled.
Building. Unit ready. Our base is under attack.
I think in this map, we probably have little outpost places here that that you could take over and then build more bases, is basically what's happening here. Basically. Now my tanks are so slow and in the far back so that your trikes rush in and they get killed. And yeah, it's
Unit ready.
pretty typical. Yeah, rocket guys in the back would be great, but then I have to like baby each group, and it would just take so long. Is this a turret here or nothing else? Guess we can blow it up. Already here. There we go. Now we're getting attention here. Oh, don't run over my guys. Yes, I know. We should build more tanks. Let's get some more infantry. Definitely not a raider.
Unit ready.
Ooh, a harvester, hello. Oh, we can take care of that.
Unit
Whoosh.
ready. Building. Unit lost. Yes.
Don't run me over. Oof. That was close. I don't remember that you can. But it's getting a little fuzzy now, because I know that in Emperor Battle for Dune, you can actually align yourself, and yes, then the Fremen can be sent out with a thumper. If you watch the movie, you know what that is. They put a little thing on the ground, like boom, 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 and it calls the worm there. You can do that, at least in Emperor Battle for Dune. I don't remember if you can this, if you align yourself with the Fremen or not. I need to send up my reinforcements here now.
Unit lost. We are ready. Unit lost. Orders out.
Oh, the tank is just annihilating my infantry here now.
Orders out. Unit lost. On our way.
Boy, it's getting a little pummeled here now. It's alright, we'll send some reinforcements up.
Reporting. Yes, sir.
Since we don't have troop transport, eventually we'll have to basically send in our little engineer running across the map by himself.
Unit lost.
Awaiting orders. On our way. Very well.
Unit lost.
Whew. It's school there now. Oh, there are my guys just standing there. Hello, don't do anything. Stop running over my guys.
Very well. Very well.
I was hoping I can actually make a dent here in this stuff, but if nothing else, you lost a lot of units. So that's good, right?
Standing by. Yes, sir.
Alright, we have to actually make inroads here and actually take care of a building or something, because that took a lot out of my forces here now.
Orders
There we go. At least destroy his production facility or something. And more tanks. Goodness, how many tanks does he have?
Building. Building.
Orders out.
Blow that tank up. See, that's the problem. The tank is just kind of circling, right? And he's not actually doing anything, so...
We are ready. Orders out. Very well.
Unit.
Boy, so many units. Can we actually blow up the...
Orders out. Very well. Yes.
Unit lost.
Very well.
Unit lost.
We are ready. Very well. Orders out. We are ready.
I just need to make inroads here and actually manage to destroy a building or something.
Ready.
Unit ready.
Orders out.
If I can get his construction yard, that will help me.
Orders out.
Unit lost.
Here, take care of the building or something.
Very well.
Unit
Come in here.
lost.
We are ready. Awaiting orders.
Unit lost.
Not a good sign. I should probably check that my harvests are still alive too. And there's one. Two. Okay, we'll just keep cranking out units.
Awaiting orders.
Okay, good. And took care of that building.
Unit
Good thing my guys are like literally walking around there by the this refinery. Where's his construction yard? That would be the ideal thing to blow up here, but I don't think I see it yet.
unit lost. Unit ready.
Boy. There, the tanks at least do quite a bit of damage. There we go, tanks really do good damage. So this may not have been his construction yard area, so... I should hit his economy a little bit at least, but I don't see a refinery here, which kind of stinks.
Unit lost.
So that entire army's gone. That's good. I did say I wasn't very good at these games, so...
Unit lost.
Standing by. Confirmed. Yes, sir.
Whoosh!
Orders received.
So, let's build a new army.
Standing by.
Fine. Fine, build another one. Do I have 2 harvesters?
Unit lost.
1 harvester? 2 harvester. Okay, that's good. Alright, why don't you harvest here, because that's really close. The spice will grow, and that's actually a little spice bloom. So if you send a guy out there, he may be lost, but he will cause the spice to come back. So that's nice of him. Alright, now we need to build a new army. Feels like the infantry sure is annoying, because they're so slow. Oh, there we go. The sad harvester sitting there. Was that actually... Yeah, I did blow up a refinery there. Or worm. Go away, worm.
Unit ready. Worm site building.
Yes, sir.
Try and put these guys out here so they can shoot at the worm.
Standing by. Orders received.
Often, in games like this, I found that once you do an attack,
Confirmed.
then the units that you were attacking, when you leave or you die, they're like, whoa, we're still attacking, so they just chase you to the end of the world.
Building. Training.
Crank out some units. Yep, that guy died, but he got all spice bloom there, so...
Training.
Goes for the cause. Alright, so you should probably go over
Unit
here, because
ready.
there's a worm over there. And the darker colors there, if I didn't say it earlier, is the heavier spice, so...
Building. Building.
Standing by. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You can probably go up here now.
Yes, sir.
Unit ready.
Worm just kind of took off.
Building.
Yes, sir.
Maybe I'll just do a mechanized infantry here now and not do any of the actual infantry, I don't know. Just they move so slow, and they just get annihilated by the tanks as they run it over. run them over. But at the same time, they're cheap too. Get a lot of firepower.
Training. Unit ready. Building.
Standing by.
Certainly took a chunk out of this production, I would think, so... Where's the building we need to capture? Because that was the thing we have to do. Briefing. Capture the outpost of Siege Tavar. That is the mission. So it might just mean blow it up. Up, dip, dip.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Standing by.
Unit ready. Building. Building.
Standing by. Yes, sir.
Away, worm. Someone likes you.
Yes, sir. Standing by. Confirmed. Reporting. Yes, sir.
Fun too, because I remember back playing games like this. Because you know you spent your hard-earned cash and you bought a game like this, and you played it a long time usually. You didn't just hop games, and now we're spoiled for choice with, you know, it's like retro games, new games, games on sale. It just there's an endless stream of accessible games too.
Building.
Why don't you go ahead and dump your spice there?
Unit ready.
You're so spoiled for choice, especially if you like multiple genres that are near impossible. It's the fear of missing out, or a FOMO or whatever, that makes it very, very challenging to feel like you're not playing all the games you should, you know? Which is ridiculous. Think about it. They're supposed to be fun. They're supposed to have fun. You shouldn't be stressed out by them.
Unit ready.
Alright, built a little attack force here now.
Building.
Need more, though. Might bind the infantry to a second key, so I have a little better control.
Unit
That's
ready.
true. The worm. Otherwise, I'd call the worm Frank, but seems like a good worm name. Or Sally. Frank or Sally, depending on the gender. And I just imagine the worm having like a big, like, you know, bad 70s mustache or something like that. Son, you do your homework?
Unit ready. Building.
Okay, I got some more units.
Standing by.
Unit ready.
Say, if I couldn't win with a small force or medium-sized force, we'll win with a large force this time. The idea with the engineer then is you can run in behind, of course, and just like capture buildings. So I'm not sure if there's a specific building I need to capture in this scenario, or are they just using it as a thing. And that's where, like, you get into advanced strategies in games, and I just games like this, and I just can't keep up. Like, you know, you play, you know, StarCraft 2, where you have like the special units coming out throwing things, and I watched like pros doing it. I was like, oh my goodness, how can you mentally juggle all that at the same time? Like, I'm having trouble like clicking fast enough. But that's why they're the pros, and I am not.
Training.
Alright, we're gonna see if we can beat this mission, and I call it for tonight, I think. But if I beat this mission, but I should have a bit of a larger force this time.
Training. Unit ready.
Yes. Orders out. Reporting. Yes, sir.
Unit ready. Training. Building.
Cranking them out now. I run out of cash.
Unit
Here
ready.
comes a new refill.
Training.
I'll build the last round here, and then let's go out and see what trouble we can start.
Unit ready.
Reporting.
There's a lot of tanks. I haven't seen the, I think we destroyed all of his vehicle production facilities, because I haven't seen any units come and attack me now anymore. And the harvester's just standing there, so he must have run out of cash. Yeah, that's good. Good for me, bad for him.
Training.
I do Now, it's old enough that I can't even double-click the same unit type, which is pretty a staple of RTS games for me, that you can double-click the unit type and it selects all that same unit. Can't do that here.
We are ready. Awaiting orders. Awaiting orders.
Unit
Yeah,
ready.
thanks for watching. I always enjoy having people listen to me blather on, so... get away!
Unit ready.
Mostly I'm just like thinking, I've been, you know, hey, let's play some retro games, like, you know, might as well stream some of it. You'll find this interesting. And there we go. Alright, so I'm going to assign these to 2. And my mechanized army will be 1. Go! Yeah, the tanks are actually pretty fast. I think they might move faster if they don't have to worry about the infantry movement behind them. We do have to go this way here. We'll do this. You are number 3. You're my number 3 guy. You're gonna take care of business.
Standing by. Yes, sir. Awaiting orders. Very well. Yes, sir.
And here we watch the fantastic ballet of horrible AI pathfinding.
Yes, sir.
Again.
Confirmed. Yes. On our way. Over and out.
Come back! They don't wait, they just go around, which is the problem, right? But, again, this is really early in... I mean, I wouldn't say early, but the RTS genre hadn't matured yet at this point, so...
We are ready.
It's mature, it's hard to say too. I mean, yeah, the game's got more complex, and I would say like Command & Conquer 3 and Red Alert 3, you know, are really good games as well. Following that same style, but then of course, Warcraft 3 came out of this, which I definitely enjoyed. I think I like RTS games where the factions are pretty different. It just... Oh, this is what I need to capture, I think. And this is the... Okay, so here is probably the Fremen Siege I need to capture.
Unit lost.
Orders received. We are ready. Awaiting orders. Standing by.
Come on, guys.
Reporting. Yes.
Boy, just losing so many units to just bad pathfinding here. They're flailing around like idiots.
Standing by.
I wish I had those turrets.
Orders received. Orders received. Awaiting orders.
There's my poor little engineer, run around, chased by a single guy. Stop that guy!
Yes, sir. Reporting.
Say, years and years ago we played WoW, and I think we were just, that's the thing I need to capture there.
Yes, sir.
We were, just, you know,
We are ready.
doing our thing and doing our missions, and it was in an area that was contested, or not contested, but they were other players running around, or, you know. And there was a paladin, and back in the vanilla WoW, paladins could not move fast at all. Like, they had no thing to close this, to catch up to anyone. Right? So,
Yes.
they just had to keep running. I remember we were just kind of leveling or whatever, and just, you see, like, a Tauren, so the, you know, cow dudes come running past. And a paladin comes running behind, just not close in distance, just perfect speed, and just yells and like, "Stop that cow!" And we just died laughing because it just kept chasing. It just didn't stop. Oh, my poor little army here. I'm gonna just destroy it again.
Yes, sir.
And turrets everywhere.
Unit lost. Unit lost.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We are ready.
Worm attack.
Yes, I know I am under attack.
Awaiting orders. Orders out.
Can we blow up that turret someday today?
Lost. Unit lost. Unit lost. Unit lost.
Ultima Online? Yep. I got some stories on Ultima Online. That was my first MMO for sure.
Unit lost.
It's,
Awaiting orders. Very well.
Can I capture the outpost?
Enemy building captured.
I think that was my...
complete.
Yep, that was my objective, to capture that. Nice. So you could have just leveled the whole thing, or, you know, done this. So that was a pretty poor performance there, but I got a job done. So, yeah, I did play Ultima Online. I was actually playing that when the housing launched. But I do remember pathfinding was just like jaggedy, jumping around stuff, and the challenge you had with... I was a caster, and the reagents just drove me nuts. Like, oh, you don't have enough Mandrake root in your backpack, so you can't cast Lightning Bolt. I just want to hit him with my knife. But we were playing the game, a friend and I were, just as housing launched, and yeah, it wouldn't fly today. It was so harsh to play, or rough-edged, I guess. You play WoW now, and I found it almost a relaxing experience, because it's not hard at all. You just play through the game, basically, right? So... but anyway, we were playing Ultima Online when the housing launched, and I remember the fields, like, in the middle of the country were just, like, all of a sudden filled with castles and houses everywhere. And, like, you had to, like, walk through alleyways to get to your dungeon. And we wanted to build a house, but we couldn't only afford, like, the tower, which is, like, 4x4 grid kind of thing, and, like, 3 or 4 levels. And we looked around everywhere, and, like, oh, we could just build in the suburbs, quote-unquote, where everyone else had built their castles. So we run around outside of the capital, and we find a clearing among the trees that fits exactly that tower, and we built it. And so we now had a isolated tower by ourselves in the forest where no one else had any houses, because you couldn't build elsewhere. We just happened to find the one spot that fit. Oh, we were so proud of that, and we decorated that tower and filled it with stuff and everything. And I think that when I stopped playing, eventually my friend he sold it for a fortune, because someone, I mean, back then, there was no more house space available, so then here's a isolated tower no one else can get to, is like, ooh, mysterious in the woods. He made a bank on that when he sold it, I think. But then he quit the game too, so it didn't really matter. But alright, we're gonna get into and save here, I think, and then call it good there. But then the game is gonna keep progressing and just get more and more cool stuff. And I always name my
game saved
saves games very excitingly 1. Back into Windows 95. But yeah, that's a game that I don't think... I mean, it maybe could find like a following on people that want that kind of hardcore experience, but I don't think I could play that kind of game again. It's just games that... yeah, there's that too. Freaking... The worst part about Ultima Online was just the spawn camping of like monsters. I swear, standing in line to kill the named monster just felt so ridiculous. Like, been here long? Yep. Waiting for that dragon to spawn? Yep. Alright. Another guy walks in. Alright, I'm next in line. Okay. And then someone would run in and kill it before you could react. And, you know, just... They fixed that with instancing and WoW, so they did that right. They took so many edges off that it basically just almost feels like playing a movie sometimes with WoW. It's like, it's fun, but you're just doing the same thing over and over, so... and we're certainly getting late now, so that was a fun stream and fun to re-explore that game. I'll just take the CD out before I forget. But yeah, this is playing on real hardware, just to reiterate that. This is on a P1 166 machine. So that's one I did a video series on. I upgraded. It's got a Voodoo 1 card in it and stuff, so it's a pretty nice rig. But yeah, I think I need to get some rest, so I'm gonna call it there. But I really appreciate you guys hanging out. It was fun chatting. Hope you got some fun out of it. It's fun to watch, but I'm gonna keep just doing a stream at least every Thursday night at 8:45 Central again. Next week, hopefully. I don't really know what game I'm going to play. I just pick one at random the day before, basically. I try and alternate kind of like strategy, action kind of thing. We'll see what I feel like next week, so never know. Might be more Mister, because, yeah, this is probably the most fun I've had with any new retro stuff as of late, for sure. So it's real fun. I have the USB expansion that slaps on here and adds, like, USB ports and stuff, too, so... but anyway, thanks so much for watching tonight, so... thanks for hanging out with Modius. It was really fun chatting. I always enjoy when there's people that are want to have that banter back and forth and listen to me motor on for 2 hours straight. And now my throat hurts because I've been talking so much, because I can't stop talking about retro stuff. It's exciting. So anyway, thanks so much for watching. I will see you guys next week, hopefully. So have a good night. I'll see you later.